On this toy spot, we're going to be having a look at Marvel Legends Face Off, Arch Enemies Punisher versus Jigsaw. Now, before we actually have a look at the figures, we'll look at course, we'll look at the packaging first. Now, this is the original version of the Punisher and Jigsaw. There was a variant. Actually, you know what? I'll hold off talking about the variant because you'll see. I'll show it on the back of the packaging. But on the front, you can see that we have Punisher and Jigsaw, and an array of weapons. I mean, these guys get quite a lot of weapons included with these figures. And you can see there's kind of a backdrop on the back here of some military guys. Maybe I'll show you that as we open the figure up. Includes a 32-page comic book and Marvel vs. System trading card. And recreates classic battles, diorama backdrop, and display base included. On the back of the packaging, now as I was mentioning, this is the original set of Punisher and Jigsaw. There was a variant, and I don't know what the variant was necessarily on Frank Castle, whether it was just a slight change on his face, and I think maybe the skull was a little more slender as well. But the real significant change was the fact that Jigsaw came in his white business suit. I prefer the white business suit Jigsaw, so I'm going to see if I can try to find the variant set. If I do, I'll definitely do a review of them. Other figures as well. There is the Wolverine and Sabretooth. There's also a Wolverine Sabretooth with their mouths open. I probably will not bother getting the variants of these guys, but the original set is nice, and I like the fact that their mouths are closed. There is also the Iron Man and Mandarin. A very disappointing Mandarin. The real Mandarin to get is the one that comes with War Machine. But those are the other figures in this set. Now, the read-up on the Punisher versus Jigsaw says, his life shattered by tragedy, Frank Castle was born as the Punisher, or was reborn as the Punisher. Taking his ruthless brand of justice to the streets, this vigilante has dedicated himself to the no-holds-barred war on crime, where even the most untouchable villain has not gone unscathed. Enter Billy Russo, a mob assassin set to take out the Punisher. Using Russo to send a message to the other would-be assassins, Castle left him alive but horribly disfigured. Now known as Jigsaw, Russo has sworn vengeance on the Punisher for turning his face into the twisted pieces of a horrible puzzle. So there you go. So there's packaging on the two figures. Let's not wait any longer. Let's get the two of these guys opened up, and we will get a closer look at the figures. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned. Alright, we've got Frank Castle, the Punisher, and we've also got Billy Russo, Jigsaw, out of their packaging. Let's get a look at the figures now. Before I actually look at the figures themselves, I'll just move these guys aside so you guys can see the backdrop that they come with. And you couldn't see it quite in the packaging, but now these out of the packaging, you can see that there's the Kingpin featured as well on the diorama. The idea with the dioramas, and they just do not work for me really, is the fact that there's little holes in the top that you can actually peg the standees into, and you can actually peg the characters into the backs. There's little holes in the back of the characters. Now, why it is like that, I really don't know, because I have yet to really get any figure to stand correctly in these dioramas. And as well, unless they're leaping at one another, I really don't see why you'd want to have them elevated. Unless, like I said, you've got, say, Frank Castle lunging towards Jigsaw. But, speaking of which, let's have a look at the figures. While the diorama is not something I really would have on display, I really like these guys, and I'm quite looking forward to having them on display. And I believe, now that I've got them out of the packaging, yes, in fact, the difference with the other variant Frank Castle, I believe, is that the skull is much more slender, especially in the mouth area. It's much more narrow than this one, and the face is a little bit different as well. But a nice looking Punisher, a very nice looking Punisher, in fact. While many people really think that the definitive Punisher was the single-carded Marvel Legends Punisher, I actually quite like this one. And I really don't know why. I don't know if it maybe because he just has a very retro look to him. But I really like the look of him. Now the white though, the white in this figure almost seems to have a bit of a bluish tinge to it. So I think that's the only one drawback I have with this figure is the fact that it's not quite white. They've done a blue wash on top of it. But a very decent looking face on Frank Castle. He's definitely angry, and he's sporting. Look at he's sporting the sideburns there as well. Pretty cool, pretty cool. They come with an array of accessories. We'll talk first about the accessories that come with Frank Castle on the actual figure. You can actually open the holster, and I think you can actually take the gun out. Although, you know what? It looks like it's almost molded in there. Just a little tight. Yeah, you can actually take the gun out. It's just really, really tight on this figure. And there we go. So you can take his gun out. Looks like it's also got a silencer on the end of it. We'll put it back in the holster. Not really a great handgun anyways, so I mean, I don't think it's a big deal. That's just going to stay in the holster anyways. And it's very tight to get out there. He also does come with a knife. Now this knife, I don't know if this knife can come... Oh, there we go. Look at me learning stuff as I'm doing this review. You can take his knife out, but very, very small. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to hold it. But again, something else I'll probably just leave with the figure. Now, the accessories that come alongside the characters, Frank Castle comes with what looks to be a rifle with a scope. He comes with a sniper rifle. He comes with again, another type of rifle. He comes with what I think is the nicer of the two. He comes with a shotgun. And he also comes with a much nicer handgun. And in actual fact, I think I'll probably have the handgun in his hand when I've got the figure on display. The way the hand is positioned, I think hopefully you guys can see it. The way it's positioned, you kind of have to get the handgun and get the finger to kind of sit inside it, because it doesn't want to sit very well. That's the only drawback. It might just be because it's the smaller handgun that it doesn't want to sit very good in there. But at any rate, I'll just put it aside for the time being. Frank Castle's articulation is that he has a ball-jointed head. He has the ball-jointed shoulders. He has the swivel bicep. You can bend the elbow in two places. You can rotate the wrist, and you can also bend the fingers. You can bend the torso, which as you can I think you guys can hear it. I've got a little bit of a click in mine. You can rotate the waist. You can bend the leg out forward. There's a ball-jointed thigh. You can bend 2 points in the knee. And you can also bend at the foot and bend at the toe. And there, in a nutshell, is Frank Castle. A very nice looking figure overall. The one thing I find too about the Marvel Face-Off figures, and it's not with all the figures, but I find this figure has the same issue as what I had with the Iron Man. And that's the fact that the paint application is a bit sloppy on, like, the hand, for example. There's a lot of built up in the hand. And overall, like, the paint isn't as rich as it could be. But here's Frank Castle. The Jigsaw. Now the Jigsaw, again, I think I like the business suit a little bit better. They've instead given him the more tattered Punisher suit. And certainly the coloring is a little more dingier than that Punisher. Now his holster is open, so I would assume that you could probably put the handgun, yeah, you could put the handgun in his holster, and he also does come with a knife, which is right there. A little larger than Frank's as well. And now in the way of his articulation is he has the articulated head, same as Frank's, so he'll have a ball jointed shoulder. Now he also has the shoulders that you can kind of bend in and out as well. Rotation and bicep, 2 points in the elbow, in the hand, in the wrist, and also in the hand. Torso, waist, the leg, knee, 2 points in the knee, foot and toe. Overall, it's not a bad set. I prefer, however, the Jigsaw in the white business suit. I don't know necessarily because I don't have the set. I don't know if I prefer the other Punisher to this one, or if this is the nicer set. Overall, the set's not bad. I'd probably give this set about a 6. The paint application could be a little bit better in the Punisher figure here, and the white business suit Jigsaw I think would probably bring this set a little higher up for me. But a great set though nonetheless. I would probably give it a 6. So that was a toy spot on the Marvel Legends Face-Off, and we had the Frank Castle Punisher, and we had the Jigsaw figure. And I hope you guys enjoyed it, and stay tuned for another spot. And I'll see you guys next time. Later.